Computer. Hello, everybody. It's Bill Treasurer. Welcome to the first episode of a dad and his two sons learning about leadership. I want to introduce you to my two sons, my eldest son, Alex, who's 15, my youngest son, Ian, who's 12, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Alex, go ahead and you go first.
Hello, I am the eldest son out of all of them. I guess this is the first time doing this, so I don't really know what we're supposed to do. But yeah, I'm Alex.
And Ian, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
I worked out today, and my name's Ian.
Where do you go to school?
I go to IC Imagine.
Okay. And Alex, where do you go to school?
I go to the upper campus at IC Imagine.
And what do you like to do in school? What's your favorite subject, Ian?
My favorite subject right now is PE, because it's easy to get grades in.
Okay. What's your second favorite subject?
Math,
What do you like about math?
I have good grades in it.
Oh, okay, good. And Alex, what's your favorite subject?
Either science or social studies, because they're both probably the most entertaining.
Oh, okay, good. Holds your attention. So why do you guys think that leadership is an important subject to learn? Why should we even go through this effort? What's important about leadership?
Well, leadership is a fundamental property for a human to have, because if you're in a situation where you as a follower might not look at the situation right, but if you had the mind of a leader, you could look at that situation, evaluate it in a way that would be appropriate for the group.
Okay, so part of leadership is that you're looking at a situation and you might see it differently than the followers are looking at it. And maybe the leader can help bring vision so that people see things in a different way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Good. Ian, why do you think leadership is an important subject or topic to learn?
We don't really learn it in school. Leadership is important because, if, say, somebody's trying to, I don't know, give a speech and then people are laughing or something and then they give it, then that's leadership and they can go push through stuff.
So what I heard you say then is a leader pushes through stuff. Tell me about the other piece. Are you saying that a leader sometimes has to be a persuasive communicator? Is that what you meant about doing the presentations that you talked about?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair point. So can you think of an example of when you've actually seen leadership in action? Is there maybe when you guys were at camp or at school or with your friendships? When have you actually seen leadership? What does it look like? Do either one of you have an example?
Yeah, I have one from when I was at camp.
Okay.
And people there are so we're at camp and the camp, the major counselors, they're supposed to give speeches about their tribe and their tribal things at camp.
Okay, so your camp at Camp Ridgecrest, you go there and the camp counselors have to give presentations and such. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And you've seen, can you think of one person who was really good at it at Camp Ridgecrest?
Probably the person, there's someone named Phil Berry and he's
Camp director.
Yeah, he's the director, but Ron, I think he owns the camp and he's the main person that's supposed to give speeches and stuff.
And you think that they did a good job of it? Do those people seem to be more leader-like than the other people there around them?
Yeah.
Okay. What was special about the way they gave their presentations or communicated that caused you to think of them as a leader?
They added some personality into it, funny personality and stuff.
Okay, good. So it wasn't dry, it wasn't boring. They gave you some information, but it was also interesting and fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Alex, how about you? Do you have an example of when you've seen leadership in action?
Well, so we were, this is also a camp story, but we were at a location where we were playing some game or whatever, and one of the kids kind of got a little upset at another kid. and one of the kids took up as a leader and stopped that from happening and separated them apart and started talking to the different kids separately to try to resolve their differences.
And did it work?
Yeah.
So the leader broke up the two people who were having a bad moment?
Yeah.
Was one of them picking on the other one?
No, just one of them, I guess the other guy took it as a wrong way and kind of got a little fuzzy about it.
Okay, so it was a misunderstanding between the two of them,
Yeah.
and the leader intervened and tried to bring harmony to the relationship so that they got along better, and spent a moment sort of communicating to each one of them to bring them back in alignment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, good. Let me ask each one of you, what would you like to know about leadership?
How hard is it to like give speeches about leadership?
All right, well, so just so that you know, leadership is more than giving speeches, for sure. Now, communication matters a lot to leadership, and being a persuasive communicator, clarifying a vision that you want to move people towards, giving them hope for a great future. But it's more than giving a presentation. That said, the best way to give a great presentation is to do a whole bunch of them, make a whole bunch of mistakes along the way, get in front of plenty of audiences, communicate, clarify what it is that you want to leave people with them, and the ways that you want to inspire them. And also think about, what do they want to know? When you're going to be giving a presentation, don't just think about what you want to convey to them, but also put yourself in the audience's shoes and say, what would I want to know if I was them sitting out there? And start from that vantage point. But it's a good question. Alex, how about you? What would you like to know about leadership?
For being a leader in, I guess, either small environments or big environments, but it doesn't matter, I guess, kind of straying away from maybe putting the ego on you and trying to give it to the other people.
That's great. That's a good insight, because human beings, me too, are selfish people. Human beings have a tendency to want to get what they want and to control a situation and have the outcome be what they want it to be. And when you're in a leadership role, you almost have to reverse that innate sense of self, that innate selfishness, and start focusing on the people that you're leading and what they need, and focus on where those folks need to get to and how to better their lives and conditions and sort of elevate them to a higher standard, which means getting out of yourself. And that's a hard thing to do, particularly if you're a confident person, and people like to follow confidence. So you're always sort of balancing between the need to have good inner strength and a strong sense of self while you're focusing on others and bettering their conditions. So it really, leadership when it's working the best is selfless, not selfish. There's a whole concept called servant leadership that maybe we'll learn about in future conversations. Would you guys like to know what I think is the starting point of leadership?
Sure.
Ian, how about you?
Okay.
Okay. Here's where you start, right? It's a big secret, but I'm going to reveal it to each one of you right now. Here's the starting point of leadership. Start by being a good person. Start by knowing who you are on the inside. Start by doing good things for others. Start by being an honest person, not lying. Start by doing things that build self-esteem. Start by being a good person. We call it a value system. Start with values, and everything else will emanate from that place. It's important that you become a good person before you become a good leader, so that when you are in a leadership role, you're radiating out of goodness versus selfishness. What do you think about that? Because I think you guys are on the way when it comes to that, being good people. I feel like you are that. So what do you think of that as the starting point?
Sounds good. That's like a good piece of advice to stick with.
All right. What would you like to, so who would you like to speak to if we do another recording of a dad and two sons learning about leadership for future sessions? Who would you want to hear from? Who would you want to learn from when it comes to leadership?
What do you mean? Like
if I had a guest come in.
Oh, I was about to say Martin Luther King, but he's not alive anymore. I don't know.
Well, we could do a session devoted to the lessons from Martin Luther King. Great leader, one of my favorites, great hero. Um, what do you think, Alex?
Maybe Havlik, he's a well-known leader. He's a Navy SEAL, and he was a captain, so he had to control his squad and know the difference between life and death through his squad.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great guy to have as our first official guest in a future episode. We'll have Captain John Havlik, co-author of The Leadership Killer, come and share some stories with the two of you about the SEAL days and talk to you about what he learned, leadership lessons, really nitty-gritty stuff by being a Navy SEAL. That sounds like a good idea. All right, well, we've done our first official dad and two sons learning about leadership vlog together. So say goodbye to the folks that might be listening out there.